Long before the world learned to count time with clocks and calendars, there lay a village called Umudara, hidden between rolling hills and thick forests, where the wind spoke in whispers and the earth answered in echoes. Umudara was a village built on ancient customs, guarded by traditions older than memory itself. At the heart of the village flowed a mighty river called Omi-Ala, a river believed to be alive, sacred, and bound to the fate of the people. The elders said Omi-Ala was not just water. It was a spirit. Female, ancient, patient, and unforgiving when angered. It gave fish to the fishermen, water to the farmers, and blessings to women who prayed for children. But it also demanded respect. When ignored, it took lives. When dishonored, it swallowed farmlands. When appeased, it sang softly through the night and allowed the village to flourish. To speak for Omi-Ala, the gods chose priestesses, women set apart from birth, marked by destiny. And of all the priestesses Umudara had ever known, none was as beautiful, gentle, or beloved as Neriah, the child of science. Neriah was born on a night when the moon refused to hide. It hung full and bright in the sky, washing the village in silver light. As her mother screamed through labor pains, the river overflowed its banks for the first time in 20 years. But instead of destruction, it brought clear water and fish that leaped joyfully onto the shore. When Neriah cried for the first time, the river fell silent. The elders gathered before dawn. They looked at the child's eyes, clear like still water and deep, the birthmark shaped like a flowing wave on her left shoulder. Without argument, they bowed. The river has spoken, the oldest elder said. This child belongs to Omi-Ala. Neriah's mother wept, not from sadness alone, but from fear. To be chosen as a priestess was both an honor and a curse. Priestesses lived lives of devotion, denied ordinary love, marriage, and children. They belonged not to men, but to the gods. From that day, Neriah was raised in the sacred grove beside the river, under the care of the high priestess Mara, a woman whose face carried both wisdom and sorrow. A beauty that belonged to no one. As Neriah grew, so did her beauty. By the time she reached womanhood, the village could no longer pretend not to notice her. Her skin glowed like polished bronze under the sun. Her eyes were deep and calm, as if secrets rested at the bottom of them. When she walked, it was said the air shifted to make space for her. When she sang prayers at dawn, even birds fell silent to listen. Men desired her, women admired her, children followed her laughing steps. But Neriah belonged to none of them. She wore white garments, simple beads, and her hair was often adorned with cowries and river flowers. She bathed daily in Omi-Ala, praying, listening, learning the ancient language of water. She could interpret dreams, calm storms, and heal with herbs and chants passed down through generations. Yet behind her gentle smile lived a quiet loneliness. At night, Neriah would sit by the riverbank, feet in the water, wondering what it felt like to belong to someone in the way ordinary women did. She watched mothers carry children on their backs. She watched couples laugh under moonlight. Sometimes her heart ached with questions she dared not ask. Mara noticed. You must never desire a life the gods did not choose for you, the old priestess mourned gently. Desire leads to rebellion. Rebellion leads to ruin. Neriah nodded, though her heart remained restless. The season of curses. The year Neriah turned 25, Umudara began to suffer. The rains refused to fall. Crops dried and cracked under the sun. The river shrank, exposing stones no one had seen in generations. Fish died, children fell ill, women miscarried. The elders gathered again, fear thick in their voices. Omi-Ala is angry, they said. We have offended her. Sacrifices were made, goats, yams, palm wine. But the river remained silent. Neriah fasted for 7 days, praying without rest. On the 7th night, the river spoke to her in a dream. She saw blood turning water dark. She saw the village burning. She saw herself standing at the river's center, arms open. When she awoke, her body trembled. Mara listened as Neriah described the vision. The old priestess closed her eyes, tears slipping down her cheeks. The river demands the ultimate sacrifice, Mara whispered. A life, willingly given. Neriah understood immediately. No, Mara cried when Neriah knelt. You are too young. There must be another way. There is not, Neriah replied softly. The river chose me before I was born. It is time. The man she never touched. Before the day of sacrifice was announced, Neriah went to see Obina, the village hunter. Obina had loved her silently for years. He never spoke of it, never crossed boundaries, never dared touch what belonged to the gods. Yet Neriah always felt his presence. Steady, protective, respectful. They met beneath the Iroko tree. I'm going to die, Neriah said simply. Obina laughed at first, then stopped when he saw her eyes. No, he said hoarsely. I will fight the elders. I will fight the gods themselves, if I must. She shook her head. This is bigger than us. Tears streamed down Obina's face. In another life, he whispered, I would have made you my wife. Neriah smiled sadly. In another life, I would have chosen you. They did not touch, they did not kiss. The space between them was filled with all the love they never lived. The day the river drank, the goddess, the entire village gathered at dawn. Women wailed, men beat their chests. Children clung to their mothers. Neriah was dressed in pure white, her body painted with sacred symbols. She walked barefoot toward Omi-Ala, calm and dignified. She turned once. Care for one another, she said. Honor the river. Remember me not with sorrow, but with kindness. Then she stepped into the water. The river rose gently, welcoming her as Neriah walked deeper. The sky darkened, thunder rolled, and rain finally fell. Soft at first, then heavy. When the water closed over her head, the river glowed. By morning, Omi-Ala overflowed again, but this time it brought life. Crops revived, fish returned, children healed. Umudara was saved. The river that still whispers. Years passed. The village prospered. New priestesses were chosen. but none ever matched Neriah's spirit. Sometimes at dusk, villagers claimed to see a woman's reflection in the river, smiling, peaceful. Sometimes a voice hummed prayers only Neriah used to sing. Obina never married. He hunted, aged, and eventually died by the riverbank, his hand in the water. The elders taught the children, love demands sacrifice, power demands humility, and some souls are born not to live long, but to save many. To this day, Omi-Ala flows calmly, and when the moon is full, the river remembers her name, Neriah. One of the strongest moral lessons from Neriah's story is that genuine leadership is not about power, privilege, or recognition. It is about sacrifice. Neriah was not a ruler, yet she carried the weight of the entire village on her shoulders. When disaster struck Umudara, she did not hide behind her position as a sacred figure. Instead, she stepped forward, fully aware of the cost. True leaders do not ask, "What will I gain?" They ask, "What must I give?" Neriah gave her life so others could live. In today's world, many seek leadership for status, wealth, or authority, forgetting that leadership demands selflessness. Whether in families, governments, religious institutions, or workplaces, the absence of sacrificial leadership often leads to suffering. Neriah's decision reminds us that leadership without sacrifice is empty, and authority without responsibility is dangerous. 2. Personal desires must sometimes bow to collective survival. Neriah had dreams she never lived. She longed quietly for love, family, and an ordinary life. Her feelings for Obina were real, deep, and human. Yet, when the survival of the entire village was at stake, she placed the needs of the many above the desires of her heart. This teaches a painful but necessary truth. Sometimes individual happiness must be surrendered for the greater good. While modern society often emphasizes personal fulfillment above all else, Neriah's story challenges us to ask difficult questions. What happens when personal ambition harms a community? What happens when selfish choices destroy collective peace? The lesson is not that desires are evil, but that wisdom lies in knowing when to restrain them. Societies collapse when individuals insist on personal gain at the expense of communal survival. 3. Destiny comes with responsibility, not privilege. Neriah was chosen by destiny, marked from birth to serve the river. Yet destiny did not grant her an easy life.